Hey everybody, and welcome to our week 1 wrap-up video for the entrepreneurship module. This week has been all about the nature and importance of entrepreneurship, and the part of it that I'm most excited to cover in the wrap-up video today is to do with our discussion and the question prompt that we had. So that question was identifying your own personal motivators and drivers for wanting to start your own venture. Now, we have people across the whole spectrum. We've got people who are interested in starting their own venture related to their research. We've got people interested in starting something that's not related to their research. And then we've got people who perhaps aren't really that interested in starting a venture of their own, but maybe they want to apply those skills inside another corporation or just exploring this space to find out what happens in terms of that mindset, which I think is very, very interesting. So for example, I've got Padlet open just here. So we've got one person, it is anonymous. A little reminder, if you can pop your name in when you're posting in the discussion, that's really helpful because then I know who I'm talking to. So someone who said, I'm not particularly interested in starting my own venture to do with cybersecurity. So the barriers in terms of the entry there and trying to scale that and start that are clearly feeling quite high to this person. Hello out there, whoever you are. But across the board for entrepreneurship, the whole purpose of modules like this, and there's a lot of assistance out there to help turn the things that feel completely insurmountable, that it's like, I'm going to need too much money, it's too much time, it's too much investment to be able to do it. But there is really a step-by-step process that we can follow to actually bring these things to fruition. The caveat being that you actually want to do that, and I know that you have said that it's perhaps not exactly the thing that you would like to do, but that applies to everybody in the cohort. For a lot of these things, I know somebody else, James, you're talking about you're a cancer researcher and hopefully a future doctor. That the medical field can have a lot of similar barriers in terms of the barriers to entry, but there are ways that we can traverse those barriers. Something that, really is important, I think, something that I'd really like to drive home at the end of this first week, particularly in terms of these discussions and the discussions that would be great to continue having in the coming weeks, is being able to be really upfront and open and honest about what those blockers are that might be stopping you from being able to see this as a potential pathway, because then that gives us the opportunity to be able to talk those things through. So yeah, one of the first things is it's understanding how much am I driven to make this a reality for myself. And then number 2 is what things are standing in my way, or how tangible does it feel for me to be able to progress along that pathway? Because whether it feels completely intangible or whether it feels very doable for you, again, if we can understand what is happening in each of your individual pathways, we can help perhaps remove those blockers and make it feel more accessible. And additionally, in terms of this discussion, there's going to be other people in the cohort that perhaps have similar feelings to you, that might have similar blockers to you. So there are no silly questions, there are no blockers that are invalid. A lot of entrepreneurship and helping people progress along this pathway is being able to identify these things, talk them through, and the more perspectives we can get on those things, the better off we are and the better we are able to progress. I just wanted to touch on another comment that we had from Joe. So your personal motivator is to create for yourself the role that you want without having to wait for an external opportunity to appear. And I just wanted to really drive that home, that it's a fantastic motivator for starting a business and being in business. And it's a very, very common thing that we hear in the area. So if you can harness that as a driver and a motivator to help you take action and go forwards, then the next part is being able to partner that with, we've got the internal drive, and then we need to identify the external problem that you're going to solve. Equally for somebody just posted a few minutes before I started recording this video, Mike, who had a career in corporate in the energy sector, and understanding that the corporates can be very risk averse. So Mike, for you, if there are already problems that you can see, things that maybe you've raised in that corporate environment that they aren't willing to take forward, that you know is going to solve a customer's problem, then that could be the perfect place to be able to start. And there's ways that you can begin to validate that, having conversations with people, understanding exactly what the core of that problem is. I think for everybody across the board, no matter where you're at in this journey, the key to being able to progress to the next stage ultimately lies in having conversations with people, identifying what information gaps that you have, and then as you get a little bit further down, identifying the specific problem you want to solve, who are you solving it for, and are they willing to pay for that solution? Or even if it's not the customer, is somebody willing to pay for that solution? So I guess I just really wanted to reiterate that I resonate with all of the comments that you guys have made in the discussion. I can understand exactly where you're coming from, no matter where you are on that spectrum. And again, no matter where you are in that spectrum, hopefully the rest of the content in this module is going to be really helpful and really valuable. So as the final part of the week 1 wrap up, I would just really encourage you to get into the discussion for both, the end of this week and in future weeks, and interact with each other and ask questions, because that is the way that you are really going to get the most out of this module. So with that, I will see you in week 2, and really looking forward to getting through the rest of this module with you guys.